So it's finally time. We're going to get to use the Van Norman today. And I'm pretty excited about it. I've got, I think, everything set up. I've got a vise. And I also had to kind of clean that up a little bit, because it was in pretty bad condition when I got it. It still got a little bit of weirdness to it. I think I gotta take it all the way apart and do some things to it, but at the very least it moves now and I can use it as is, so I'm happy with it for the moment, just for getting to do what we're gonna do today. Also, I had to weld a casting. Now that casting is cast iron, and my welder is flux core, and lots of people have talked about, welding cast iron being very difficult, and you can't use flux core, you gotta use certain... None of that's true. It being difficult is true. It is difficult, but if you are careful, and you take your time, and you just do small welds, and then kind of stitch together a little bit, you won't break the casting, and it's not really that hard. I mean, I am a absolute terrible welder, as evidenced by some of my previous videos where I did welding. I have no idea what I'm doing with welding. All I know about welding is that when a weld breaks, it's bad. But I can say that the one that I did on that, it looks like it was getting good penetration, looks like it's held together well, and I didn't bang it around, obviously, because it's a casting, but it looks like it's going to hold together. And that went on nicely, and so I'm pretty happy with it. The last thing, and you may have gotten a little bit of a sneak peek of this in my last video, is, well, I've got the Van Norman in battle mode. I mean, seriously, it looks like a fucking turret. What that is horizontal milling mode, and I don't have the arbor to actually use this correctly, nor the overarm support, and the overarm actually doesn't move, so it's not really horizontal milling mode. I mean, it sort of is. But the reason we're doing it this way is that the vise is not quite big enough to hold the hand wheels. And if you remember, we still have to cut the keyways on those hand wheels. So we're going to use the Van Norman to cut the keyways on its own hand wheels. And in order to do that, we put the Van Norman into horizontal milling mode, so we can come in there with an M mill through the center hole and just press down to cut the keyway. After we get that done, we'll have the Van Norman up into a state that we can actually use it for some other projects. So I'm pretty excited. Let's go ahead and get to it. Where the fuck did I put my brass nuts? Ah! Awesome. If I had $1 for every ounce of whey oil that I waste, I'd probably have enough money to buy more whey oil. Well, looks like it works. So, we now have a functional Van Norman 16S. Sort of. There's still a little weirdness in some of it, but we'll work through it. As in a little aside, I thought I'd mention this. The audio quality in this video is probably really bad. The story behind this is I was using an old phone to do all my recording because I'm a cheap bastard and I didn't really want to invest in a nice camera in order to record video. And the video is pretty decent with that one, and the audio quality was okay too, but you might remember from my last video that, well, that phone took a bath. And because of that, I think that the power button, well, I know the power button doesn't work anymore. I've not taken it apart to look at it yet, but I think that there's some coolant in the power button, and so now, if the phone ever turns off or dies, I won't be able to turn it back on, and well, I can't lock it with the power button anymore either. I've sort of worked around that a little bit, but I figured it was time to go ahead and actually get something that was built for this purpose. So I got a GoPro, the Hero 7 Black, actually, because I wanted one that I could get an external mic with, and it was a pretty good model, rugged, all this, whatever, and maybe eventually do some 4K video. But I got a mic as well, sort of, again, cheap bastard, so I didn't really go for a super name brand on that. And then an adapter, USB-C to a 3.5 millimeter. And it's always kind of pissed me off how device makers won't put 3.5 millimeter jacks on phones anymore. It's just asinine. I don't really understand why we've moved away from that. But that's beside the point. I bought the adapter and plugged in the mic, and it doesn't fucking work. Come to find out, if you're buying a GoPro that's already like a $250 camera and you want to attach an external mic, you have to shell out an additional $50 for a specific mic adapter that they make that will work with the camera. What the fuck? I mean, I already, spent a bunch of money on the camera. Again, cheap bastard here. It took me a lot of convincing myself to actually get the damn camera, but I don't know. It just seems kind of shitty and scummy to me, and I don't know. Maybe GoPro will see this and they'll actually stop making their cameras like this, or put a fucking 3.5 millimeter jack on it. I mean, seriously. But so hopefully I'll be able to get that sometime soon and actually have better quality audio in my videos, but unfortunately that day is not today, and possibly not anytime soon, because they're also really out of stock on Amazon, like out of stock till like a month from now. So, but anyway, I'm happy we got the Van Norman going, so we'll be seeing a lot more of her. See you guys. I wanted to show you guys where I store my collet set for the mill. Inside the lathe bits box.